What if the difference between staying stuck and becoming successful wasn't luck, money, or connections, but a single shift in mindset? This is the story of a man who went from being ignored at a railway station to building a thriving flower business. Not because someone handed him a fortune or because life suddenly became easier, but because he discovered one powerful truth. You only receive when you learn how to give. A person's greatness is determined by their thoughts, a principle reflected in the lives of innovators like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos, and famously expressed by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich when he wrote, "What you think about, you become." In a crowded railway station, a beggar survived each day by asking passengers for alms, until one day he approached a well-dressed businessman, expecting generosity, only to be asked a life-changing question. Do you always just take from others? Have you ever given anything to anyone? Shocked, the beggar replied that he had nothing to give, but the businessman calmly answered, "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you have no right to ask for anything. I believe in exchange offer something, and I will give something in return." Those words echoed in the beggar's mind for days until he noticed wildflowers growing near the tracks and decided to offer a flower to every person who gave him a coin. Surprisingly, people smiled, thanked him, and began giving more generously, and he soon realized that as long as he provided value, he received in return. When he met the businessman again and proudly exchanged flowers for money, the businessman smiled and said, "Today, you are no longer just a beggar. You have become a businessman." That moment changed everything. The beggar stopped seeing himself as helpless and started seeing himself as a trader, someone who could create value instead of waiting for pity. He left the station, built a small flower venture, and months later returned as a well-dressed entrepreneur expanding his business, proving that nothing external had changed. First his thinking had. The real transformation was not in his pocket, but in his perception. Life is shaped by how we see ourselves. If you believe you are small, you remain small. But the moment you recognize your ability to give, to create, and to add value, your future begins to shift. So instead of asking, "Why am I not receiving more?" ask yourself, "What value can I offer?" Because success is not about taking, it is about becoming someone worth receiving from.